You're listening to Eat, Play, Sex with Dr. Cat, the place to uplevel that sexy life of yours, with expert talk on sex, love, and nutrition.
Yeah. And where along your point of, you said it took you 2 years to heal through that deep burnout. At what point did you find that sensuality was the answer, or even just what you're sharing about my worth is not contingent on this?
I had, when I was younger, like when I look back to my teenage years and my desire and my sexuality, my sensuality, and my connection to that, it was actually quite strong. And I had dove into that earlier in my life. And then somewhere along the way, and I think it was around when I started the businesses, I just pushed that aside as something that isn't the most important thing for me to be focused on. Like I had such a strong desire, such a strong um, connection to my sexuality. And I started to label that as being a distraction. Like if I'm just turned on by life all the time, it's distracting me from work. And I don't know the point in which I adopted that belief and stepped into taking that on, but it got to a point where I could feel that energy within me, like pulsating again and whispering to me that it was time to come back. I also didn't have a lot of sex in my relationship. So we weren't having regular sex either. And it just got to a point where I think that energy had been like ignored for so long, and it was like there, it was brewing, and I just couldn't ignore it anymore.
Uh,
I just couldn't ignore it anymore. And that's when I dove in, and I knew that that was going to be a really big part of the healing, is reconnecting to that and letting that energy like be fully unleashed. And that was really a game changer in my healing as well, because I mean, your listeners know all the benefits of sex, right? It's like it helps our brain health, it helps us prevent burnout, it helps lower stress, it puts us in a better mood. Like all of those things are what you actually need in order to continue to run a company, continue to create in the world. It's like everything that I was wanting to do, like lower my stress, heal, have more joy in my life, like sex and my sensuality was the answer to all of that. It wasn't going to matter what supplements I was taking and the vitamins and the IV drips and all of that. Like none of that was going to heal me unless I turned to my sexual energy and cultivating that again.
wow. Wow, wow, wow. Let's highlight that. So you did IV therapy, supplements. You did, what else did you do there?
I was going to different doctors. I
Yeah,
was doing the inner work. I was doing a lot of like therapeutic journaling prompts, and
sure.
I was taking on meditation, like really deep meditations twice a day. And I was exercising and running and like doing all of these things, taking a lot of space for myself, all the things that are part of like standard burnout protocols.
Sure. Yeah.
And do you know what was not on the burnout protocol?
Sex.
Was sex. Yes. And that really ended up being something that has it changed that trajectory of my life. It took me on a path of healing in way deeper ways than I had before I dove into that. And then now, even though I maintain a schedule that can be a little rigorous at times, and right now I'm building a new company, even though I have a lot on my plate, as long as I'm in my personal practice and I'm taking time throughout the day to connect with myself, if I'm taking time for the self-pleasure practices, taking time
Mm,
to, as you teach so beautifully, to like feed my eroticism and
mm,
do that as like daily practice, the way that
mm,
I have a daily meditation practice, total game changer. Like I only
mm,
continue to get more creative, to feel more joy, to like bring this energy of orgasmic bliss into my work. And as I do that more and more and more, the company only continues to grow. I've
mm.
had more success than I ever had before when I was just like working, working, working towards success all the time. And that's what
Yeah.
I wish people understood, that we can and we actually need to follow these cycles. We need to connect to our sensuality. We need the self pleasure practices. We need that energy, like connection to that energy, to that like Shakti, in order to be who we want to be in the world and attract
Hmm.
everything that we want to attract.
Mm. Yeah. It's like, it sounds from what you're describing, it's a very renewing energy versus just productivity is output. It's a lot of output. It's a lot of using our energy, depleting us. But here you're saying sensuality, sexuality renews us, fills us back up so we can hold more.
Exactly. Yeah, like in Taoist practice, how we have to be so mindful and have practices to balance our giving and our receiving.
Mm,
And so many of us are giving, 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 and it's always output. And we
mm,
have to look at how we balance with that input. And I feel like
mm,
those practices, like taking time for breath work, is a big practice that I do. And often breath work paired with self-pleasuring, and
mm,
those kind of practices, they are input, like they are renewing, they are feeding me and filling my cup and lighting me up. And
mm.
I have to do my work from that place. Like there just is no other way for me anymore.
Anymore. Yeah, now that you've seen the other side and how that benefits. And I feel the same way. It's had to require me to learn how to slow down again, like you said, because I was on this just so conditioned to move really fast. And we can't be sensual when we move really fast.
Lovers, thank you again for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, hit subscribe and head over to eatplaysex.com to connect with me and grab my sexy guides. Because my goal here is to get you to eat, play, and sex better so you can improve your sex life, which will improve every aspect of your life. Until next time, keep it sexy.